Mind you, PSA, I don't think that would work
PSA,
whatsoever.
Scott thinks this 100%. Fuck you if you're poor. Alright, so you know how last weekend I was trying to get you to come to Maine and then nobody ended up coming and I was just by myself?
Yeah.
I thought about going out to a restaurant by myself. Just treating myself. So would you ever go out to a restaurant by yourself? Like if you no. Sierra wasn't there, you wouldn't.
I would go to it's not a restaurant, but I'd go to a sit down spot like a Chipotle or a Moe's or something, but I wouldn't go somewhere where I'm like getting waited on.
Why?
I would say if I'm being vulnerable, I'm not comfortable enough being alone. I think that's why.
See,
if I'm gonna be completely honest, and if anyone watching this says any other reason but that, you're lying. It's just because you don't want to be alone enough. That is what it is.
Well, it could be. It could also be it's not that you're like uncomfortable being by yourself, but like you're uncomfortable people like seeing you by yourself, meaning like, oh, like he got stood up or something.
That's fair.
Because like if you go by yourself, like there was supposed to be somebody there.
Yeah, I would say. And to be honest, it's something I need to work on. I think is like just being in my own presence more. You know.
Yeah, because that's exactly what happened with me. Is because like I was gonna go, and then like I was like, for me it was like I don't want to do it because like I'm like it's just a hassle. I have to put on some clothes that are like nice because I was just wearing like sweats and stuff, and then go find a restaurant that I want to eat at, go sit down, and I'm like, then I just be making a point to myself to do it because I said I was gonna do it. But like going out to eat by yourself made me think like, okay, like am I comfortable by myself? Because like I was trying hard. I called you. I called Mitch. I tried to get Caroline. Like I was trying hard to just have somebody because I was like, I don't like to me like if I'm, and this is something I got to work on. Like, I was like, if I'm just by myself sitting here in the house because Nur was gone for other reasons and so was Abdel. I was like, I'm sitting here by myself. Like it's like a wasted weekend. Like I could like be doing something more fun.
I could see that
because I get such limited off time, and now I'm just like, oh, what the hell? Like I'm doing nothing. Like I'm sitting at my house watching movies, which was fine. Like I watched 2 of the Rocky movies, which are very good in my opinion. But I was like, like in the beginning of the weekend, I was trying so hard because I was like, it's gonna be a wasted weekend if I don't get somebody.
Well, I think a huge part of, at least in my opinion, is that we're in relationships, so you don't. Yours is a little bit different because you don't see her all the time, but like you're not as used, or well, even though you're not in a relationship, you live with roommates, so there's not a ton of time where you're by yourself, you know?
Right.
So it's like you occupying that time is like, damn, I'm always used to having someone around, whether it's my girlfriend or my roommate. So it's like that's definitely a huge thing for me because I haven't been single in a long time, you know?
Yeah.
Like even between my relationships, there hasn't been a ton of time of me being single. So I think, dude, since I was in high school, I haven't really had a time to really be comfortable in my own presence, you know? Because it's different where it's like if your girl leaves for the weekend, you're like, okay, it's good to have some alone time. That's not being alone in your presence. That's just like, okay, I want some alone time to myself. It's different, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the same thing. So to answer your question, if I'm going to be honest, it's just because I'm not comfortable enough being alone.
Yeah.
But like a Moe's, a Chipotle or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll go eat a burger. It'll take me 3 minutes, 5 minutes to eat a meal, you know?
See, but if it was me and I did that, I'd just take it home and go home and watch TV.
That too. So you're not there for that much time, you know?
Yeah.
It's just get your food and go.
Yeah.
So.
But I will say, when I had that weekend by myself last weekend, it was like, it's kind of like cliche because I've heard Matthew McConaughey talk about it, but it was almost like a check out so I could check into myself. And like it actually, at first it was uncomfortable and like I was just realizing that like, you know, I just have these repetitive thoughts that come to my mind that like I think about when I'm in the shower. Mm-hmm. Because like recently when I've been in the shower, I turn off the lights because I think shower in the dark is fire, bro. Let me tell you, if you haven't showered in the dark, it's actually like, I don't know why it's so relaxing. Because like showering right before you go to bed is good to go to bed.
Bro, in the dark?
Showering in the dark is a move, let me tell you.
Showering
just
in the
try
dark
it. Just try it.
Okay.
Just try it.
I won't knock it until I try it, but bro, have you showered in the dark before? I've never fucking showered. He's scared of
the dark, bro.
No.
Who's gonna come get me in the shower?
I did that once when I was a kid, and my brother came in and scared the
fuck out of me.
Oh well, I mean, shit. Yeah, that's different. No, I always because the way it started out as is like I would be upstairs showering, and then Cameron would forget I was in there and turn off the light, and then I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
and then you're like,
but then like again, I was like, wait a minute. Leave it off. You might be onto something here.
You don't want to see Lil Worm down there?
Yeah, no, I was too disappointed.
That's funny.
But so I was like, so now I'm doing it in the dark because like I've been trying to take showers right before bed because it helps you get better sleep.
For sure.
And then so I take it at night in the dark, and then it like it just kind of like the darkness just kind of helps your mind relax and like really focus on what you're doing, because then like there's just nothing I can see or look at. It's just me in my head and the hot water hitting my body, which I love. Like I'm a huge, like, I take long showers because I love how it feels.
Fair.
So I do that for every shower I take now, and for me it's just awesome. But like doing that weekend by myself, like in the beginning, it wasn't as awesome, but then like it felt like freeing, because like with me, with how rigid my schedule is, like I do this. Even this weekend, like my weekends are planned out because I want to maximize time, like I said, with other people. When I just did that, I literally could do whatever I wanted when I wanted, and it just like it felt free. Like I could do whatever I want. Like I had things I wanted to do, and I just did them when I wanted to do them, rather than having to like line them up with somebody else's schedule.
Well, I think it kind of gives you a balance to your life too, because like I don't feel like humans should be on go all the time like we are, but I also don't think humans should have ultimate freedom all the time either.
Right.
I feel like you need a little bit of both. I think structure is good, but too much structure is also, it can kind of hinder you too.
Yeah.
Like we had this conversation the other day when you were coming back from, where were you coming back from? Were you coming back from here? Or,
when I called you?
Obviously we won't talk about what we talked about. But
Yeah. No, that I was coming back from Mass.
Yeah, like we even talked about it. Me and you were just on go. We have shit planned because we don't have a ton of time. We don't have a ton of free time.
Yeah.
So this brings up another question that I was talking to Mikey about it last night on Discord, and then I saw it on a podcast.
You were playing and didn't even invite me? That's mad fake.
You didn't see it? Fu texted in the chat, bro. He literally said join the Discord.
I don't look at the chat at all sometimes.
So how the fuck is that our fault? Even Evan saw this motherfucker.
I thought you were saying like you like were playing with him and like didn't even think to text me.
No, Fu hit me up and was like, yo, join Discord. So I was like, all right, cool. So I joined him and we're talking for like 10-15 minutes, and then Mikey just joined it. We didn't even ask him.
Well, now I'll check it, because like the reason why I don't check it is because it's always Fu sending pictures of him on the fucking toilet, like fucking fuck the business. I be shitting on working time, like, and I'm like, okay.
That's facts.
And then he always sends like that one picture of like Kid Goku, or he just like sends memes, and it's like, okay, well, this is great, but
so there's a question going around. If I want to hear your take on it, basically.
Okay.
Obviously, people feel like they're overworked. Money kind of rules the world, which it does. Mm-hmm. Some people think that should happen. Some people think it don't. Do you think if every single person got, let's say, I don't know.
I already know where
let's go, $5,000 or $10,000 at the beginning of the month. Like me, you, Evan, Mikey, everyone in the world got a check, right? And we'll just say, for the sake of this question, that's enough to get by, right?
Yep.
You're not rich, you're not poor, you have it's enough to get by for the month, right?
Yep.
But everybody got the same check.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
that's the only money you have?
Yes. So, but now everyone has freedom, right? Yep. So that's the positive thing. No one really wants to work, right? Even as much as everyone says they can or don't love their job, no one really wants to work, right? If you have the ultimate freedom,
yeah,
who doesn't want that? Now the question is, if everyone had the ultimate freedom by getting that check at the beginning of the month, do you think that will hinder the world, or do you think that would benefit the world?
I'll be honest. I think it would hinder, because here's what I say is I've had both, like obviously different, not money, but like time wise, right? Because now you're saying you don't have to go to work. Mm-hmm. And I guess now you'd have more time to spend with the people that you love, which is great. Mm-hmm. But it gets to a point, as humans, I think we're innately like, we evolved to know that we just have to be doing things to like survive, because that's the way it was. Like before there was jobs and money, it was you had to go out and farm, hunt, whatever. And so now, like, just innately, like, you get into a cycle of working, and then you feel like you're working a lot. Like me at dental school, like, I feel like I have no free time. Mm-hmm. But then I get to a part where I have, like, a week off, and, it's good. But then if I go too long, like, I get to a point, like, towards the end of my breaks where I'm like, I just have too much time, and I'm doing nothing with my life. And then it kind of gets you into, like, a sad mindset where you're like, but here I'm doing nothing.
Here's a caveat to that though, right? You don't have a ton of money. Now say you had $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is, that's enough money to go do stuff. Now you have time to fill that void. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, and I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just being the devil's advocate, right? Mm-hmm. Now say you have $5,000, $10,000, that's enough. That's plenty enough to, because at this time obviously you wouldn't have debt or anything, so you have enough to go do stuff, right?
Right.
Right now, financially there might be a hindrance because you're like, okay, I don't want to spend a ton of money with all my free time. Like I'm kind of just chill, do things that are free or that are low cost, right?
Yeah.
Now you have a little bit of money. Now, obviously, being smart, you can kind of do activities with the money that you're just getting for free.
Now, are you allowed to save this money? Like, if you don't spend it, you get to keep it and hold on to it?
It's your money. You do whatever you want. It's more so of just the freedom aspect.
Okay.
So I agree with you. Yes. When I have too much free time after a while, I'm the same way. I'm like, okay, dude, this is way too much.
Yeah.
But if money's not the issue, to an extent, obviously, you can't just go do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, right, because some stuff will cost more than you'll be able to.
But you have activities to fill in those times of the freedom.
But here's the thing, though, is if everybody can do what they want, like, if you have all the time in the world, like, given me and you, we'd be doing a lot of the same things. But, like, some of the people you want to hang out with are not going to be, like, some of our other friends that aren't here. Like, they probably would not go spend the money to do the things that we wanted to do. They would leave and go do something else, and then you wouldn't be... Because what this would be really good for is relationships. Because you're going to... For, like, a married couple or a dating couple, since you don't have to go to work, you're going to find out very quickly if you want to be with this person. Because you're going to be with them all day, every day. Hopefully. Unless, like, you know, you go out and do some other stuff. Like, you go to the gym. They don't want to go to the gym. Whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You go do your own thing. They'll go do their own thing. But you're going to be with them most of the time. So you're going to find out real quick if you want to be with this person. And then B, you know they're not going to be with you. They're not going to be a gold digger. Because they can't. Because they have just as much money as you do.
Yeah.
Now, this brings up an interesting point that I've seen all over the internet for years. And I highly, highly agree with it, is that there's a lot of people, the idea is like, shoot, now I'm forgetting what it's called. It's not capitalism, it's the opposite. It's what people were fighting for in like China and stuff. I can't even remember what it's called now. I'm totally blanking. Either way, it's the idea that like socialism, where like you kind of spread the money evenly between everybody. So like even if you're working like a job where you're supposed to make the most money or you're not working at all, it's kind of like the money gets evenly spread out through everybody. And it might not be called socialism. I forget what it's called. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. It was basically like a big rivalry back in whatever years, but that's besides the point. So basically, it's the idea that like if you evenly spread out the money between everybody in the world, people think that, well, then everyone would have equal opportunity, everybody would be happy. But I would put a fat load of money on that if you evenly spread out the money between everybody in the world, here or there it might slightly differ, but the people that are rich are going to get rich again. And the people that are poor are going to get poor again. And it's going to go back to the way it was before all the money got redistributed.
It's a good way to look at it.
Because that's what happens is people that are poor generally have a poor person mindset and they make poor people decisions through no fault of their own. It's just the way they have to be.
Right.
Where people that are richer have either been born into the money or they built themselves up into the money and learned a way to maintain the wealth.
For sure, yeah.
Because if you're rich, it's not that hard to lose all your money, as you see with everybody that wins the lottery.
Yeah.
Like they win the lottery and then you see them back on the street with no money.
Yeah.
So if you were to just, give everybody the money, I really, really think it would just redistribute itself out the way it was before with slight differences. Some people might make something out of it. But like, so I just don't think that like doing that would help that many people.
That's a good way to look at it. I think another issue with everyone getting a certain amount of money too is no one would work. So what are you going to spend the money on?
Well, the thing is, if you don't work, what are you going to spend the money on? What's going to be made to buy?
But that's what I'm saying. If money now no longer becomes the issue or the driving factor for everybody to do all these things, our society would have to drastically have we'd have to start from scratch.
Yeah, like it would. Everything that we have, like every piece of technology, everything we have, it would become obsolete because there wouldn't be anybody running the. There'd be nobody running the operation systems to make them work. So it would go back. We'd regress in evolution, like technological evolution.
Now,
for sure.
I was having a conversation with Mikey last night about this. The reason why I brought this up is when we first started having the conversation, we weren't arguing or anything. I was with you. I was like, I think it would hinder the world. As terrible as it sounds, I think. This was before the conversation, right? I thought, in my opinion, that I think we need to have poor people and we need to have rich people and we need to have people in the middle. And I think there needs to be a system for society to operate the way it does. Now, I don't agree with the higher ups taking advantage of us or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying.
Or like
but I
how
do think
massive the difference is.
Right. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but I'm saying when I first came to this conversation, I was like, I do think there needs to be some type of system, because if we're all having the freedom, bro, if every fucking human can do whatever the hell they want at any moment in their lives, bro, that's just a recipe for
It's
chaos.
a disaster. It's going to set up a purge.
But Mikey came, great example. At first, it took me a little bit to understand it, but I want to hear your thoughts and see if I kind of, as the conversation progressed, I kind of came to his side a little bit, right? He felt that the money is the root of all evil, which I agree. And he felt that money is what has divided humans away from each other. Like, if we're going to be honest, a lot of us are selfish. We're greedy.
Absolutely.
We have poor desires. We have negative desires. And he felt that a lot of those things stemmed from money, which I actually do agree. I agree.
100% agree.
It went wrong somewhere in history, right? Like, money was supposed to be a good thing, supposed to be a good invention for society, and then it just went south, right?
Yep.
He made a good point, though, is like, if money was just never a thing in general, right? Instead of us getting money, but money was just never a thing, people would be more willing to help each other. It would be back like it was. I have to go kill an animal to get food. I have to go pick my berries. I have to grow certain things to get the things. We would all be willing to help each other because we don't have to do anything we don't want to do to get the things we want. It was just normal in society to be like, hey, I'm going to go hunt my food to get my food. I'm going to go do this X, Y, and Z to be able to survive.
Right.
Then I was like, okay, I kind of see I see where you're coming from. But then I was like, say you needed to get healthcare, right?
That's exactly where my head went.
I should have said this at the beginning of the argument because it's kind of confusing now that I'm explaining it out loud. One of the original arguments me and him were going back and forth about was healthcare. Mikey was like, I think healthcare should be free now. And I was like, I get that. But if everyone had money, then doctors wouldn't be doctors because they're not going to get paid for doing that service. But circling back to what I was just saying is, there still would be doctors and nurses, we believe, even if there wasn't money. Because now they have all the time and the freedom just to help people. There would be no division between humans because money was never the driving factor. This is going way back in time, saying if money was never a thing. Now, that's kind of different from my original question, but what do you think about that? Do you think if money was never a thing, that would still be a benefit to society? Or do you think money has to kind of be in a system to help society run? And it's hard to unsee it now because we're so used to money being a part of our society. But what are your thoughts?
So I agree with you with the fact that if money didn't become like what I was thinking about when you were talking about that is people became monetary driven rather than like morally driven. Like, I want to live by my morals and I want to live right by God. You know, that's the way we live. We want to be right by God, but you know, however you want to live morally. People were driven by morals. Now they're driven by money. So that money draws you away from what you and I want to be right with God. So it pulls you away from God, which is a lot of people have done, which is why so many people are not religious. Although there has been a massive kick recently, which I love. And I was there kind of earlier on, and then you're in it, and it's becoming way more popular, like even on social media, to go get right with God, which is awesome, because I think that would be one of the greatest things that could happen to society. So I think that the monetary driven did drive us away from God. But I also, when you were talking about healthcare, it's tough, because if you had all the time in the world, I don't know that there would be doctors. Because you have to go through extensive training, which I can tell you is extremely vigorous, and it sucks balls.
For sure.
And it's hard, really hard. And there's a lot of people that if they're not getting a benefit from it, other than like, I'm feeling good about helping people, wouldn't do it. And then like I talked to you about earlier when we were saying the technology, you're not going to be able to diagnose stuff if there's no technology, because there's no money, because there's no people keeping up with the technology to keep it in order. And if it goes out of order, then there's not going to be people that are like, oh, I just know how to fix these things. Like it becomes really tough. So if you take money out of the equation, like I was saying, it not only devolves us technologically, but it's going to devolve us mentally and like societally.
But would you argue that back in the day, like years and years and years ago, that humans were just overall more healthy, so they required less healthcare, which means less knowledge was needed to actually take care of humans? Because think about it, back in the day, when you were hunting for fresh meat and getting fresh berries and all these things, there was no such thing as processed foods and all this shit that's causing cancer to then require healthcare, then to make us all go broke. It's just this spiraling system that we both agree about. That's not the premise of the question. But we wouldn't need the technological advancements back then. We wouldn't need all these things because our health was already at an all-time high back then when we were eating fresher things.
But that's not necessarily true.
Obviously,
Because
I can't
if
say,
you-
I'm not saying this is a fact. So if you're watching
'Cause-
this and you're like, Scott, shut the fuck up. I get that. Yes, this is just an opinion. This is
fuck
not a
this guy
fact. This is
right
not
here,
a
bro.
fact. But
Because this is where it gets to the point where like our life expectancy is at the all-time highest it's ever been. So back then, it is true that like your body and what you were eating was healthier for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that we are healthier, because now if you take that away again, you have to be okay with dying sooner from disease that you're not going to be able to treat because there's no medication to be created by this technology that you had, and the doctors can't diagnose it as well because they don't have the schooling and the technology to diagnose as well. So you might be eating healthier food, but I don't like, so technically your body might be a little healthier, but you're not going to be able to live as long as you would like. So for me, I value time the most.
for sure.
And like, given, obviously we take really good care of ourselves, and we're kind of more cognizant than some about what we eat or whatever.
Yeah.
So for me personally, like it's still going to benefit me more. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to be eating even better food, but I'm taking really good care of myself, exercising and stuff. So then it's going to allow, this just allows me to add time to my life where if
Yeah.
I went back to that, I might be a little bit healthier, like with what I eat and stuff, and probably a little happier as well.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to live as long because you're not, if you get sick, it's kind of like you're shit out of luck. Like it's either something we can try to cure quickly or your body's going to kick, or you're cooked.
So would you say we started on one end of the spectrum, we found a nice happy medium, and then we slowly went to
We've
the other
gone
side?
too far.
And what I mean by that is, like, yes, back in the day, we had no technology, we had no knowledge. So if you did get sick, you're fucked. You died at
Yeah.
whatever age you died, right? Which
Yeah.
is what you would just, and I agree with that. And I feel like as we progressed, like the 1950s, 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, it was like, okay, we still don't have a ton of knowledge, but we have enough knowledge to actually help people, and people are actually living along. Now I feel like as we got into the early 2000s, now 2010s, now 2020s, it's like, I don't know if you saw this statistic, and I could be butchering it a little bit, but if I remember correctly, it's like 1 out of every 3 people will get some type of cancer in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It might be 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 4, but it's something like that. Hence why our boy Evan
it's
has
a high
10 twice.
likelihood.
So it's like, it almost seems like we went from one extreme to being like, okay, we just don't have the knowledge of the people to do it. So if you get a disease, you're dead.
Yep.
To now we have a 70-year life expectancy or whatever the number is
Yeah.
in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And our cancer rates are a lot lower than they are now.
Right.
And now we slowly have gotten back into like, okay, it's a monetary gain to have people get cancer, which is why all these processed foods, and it's just a spiraling thing.
Right.
And that was just basically the premise of our conversation last night. And it was just like kind of intriguing because I was just like, you made a good point of like you thinking if we just spread out the cash, people would slowly go back to where they were from. And
Right.
that didn't even get mentioned last night. And that's a great point. I never thought about it like that. And then Mikey also brought up good points of like, it almost seems like the monetary gain is where like, I don't think, another question too, do you think when money was first implemented into society, do you think the reasoning behind it was to be evil like it is turned into now?
No.
Or do you truly think the people,
It had to be.
you think it was for the good and then just turned bad?
I don't even know if it was for the good. It was more for like organization, I feel like.
Okay.
Because what happened is like before there was money, it was just trading. Like I
For
have
sure.
this
Yeah.
animal I killed. You have wheat, bread, whatever you're trading me for.
That's
I'm
exactly what it
saying
was,
this
yeah.
and this. So then they created money so you can like, if you don't have these things, like if you don't have a farm or the ability to go kill or whatever, you can have something to trade back and forth
Right.
with. And then it just, slowly evolved as we've seen, and now
Yeah.
money has just become everything, and you don't need to trade. Like trading things is super uncommon now. Now it's just straight money for whatever you want to buy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so this is interesting too with like what you were talking about with the cancer. Like cancer's become super prevalent in a lot of people, and so have a lot of other diseases. And it's because a lot of it is the way things are processed, the things we eat, whatever, vapes, cigarettes, whatever. But you think about it, and the food that we eat is so processed and stuff because it has to be. Because it needs to be able to reach so many people, and there's so many people on this planet for them to be able to give us food to provide for enough people, they have to produce it very quickly.
Right.
And to do it very quickly, you have to take shortcuts. And some of those shortcuts are what lead to,
It's a great point.
the things that are in the foods that we. So what I really really think a massive thing that would help the world is if we could somehow like naturally bring the population down without just like killing people, obviously. Like if we could somehow get the population back to a more stable number, because we're at 8 billion now. That's a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, it is.
I think that we have too many people on this planet for the world to be sustainable, and like there's too many mouths that need to get fed, because you can't just not feed people.
Yeah,
like,
you can't.
that's obviously morally wrong. And so then you have to put out these things that like, I think the companies could be a little less cheap, because it's also to do with it's just cheaper to buy the things.
Absolutely.
To cheaper products that are worse for you than things that are better. But like there's also just so many people that like it just makes the world a lot harder to run, a lot harder to produce enough resources for everybody. Like we're creating some shit out of thin air, like not out of thin air, but like, you know what I mean? Like we're creating shit that is not necessary. Like all the junk, like a lot of the junk food's only necessary because it's cheaper, so it can feed people that can't afford the food that's more expensive, that's like healthier. And that's why it's healthier, is because it's limited.
So do you think population and monetary gain go hand in hand as to like two of society's biggest issues?
Yeah, I think that because of the world's growing population, money became more and more prevalent.
How, if you were to say on the top of your head, how do you, what, and obviously you didn't have time to think about this, so I'm putting you on the spot, but what do you think is the best way to have population control going forward? Do you think, like, something for me specifically, I don't think this would work, but something, if you were to put me on the spot, one of my initial reactions was like, okay, there's a family requirement per income. Like, if you make 100,000 plus family income, you can have 2 kids. Whatever it is. I don't make the rules. Because I do think a lot of...
So you're saying, like, for the amount of money you make, it's to determine how big your family is.
Yes, because there's a lot of families that were having kids. Granted, I know there's... we're not going to get into it because we're going down a spiraling path, but there's situations where you have a kid and it's just... It happens, right? Yeah. That's fine. Nothing against that, of course. But a lot of families are just choosing to have kids when they can't afford them. And it's just that also plays a role into population just being so fucking large for what we can actually afford. Mm-hmm. So something that I would say, my initial reaction is like, do we enforce families to only have a certain amount of kids per income? Or what is something that you would say that comes to your mind right away?
So I love that idea, but I also am not a huge fan of it, because then what it comes down to is now you're only allowing certain people to have kids.
That's a fact,
which
too.
is not.
That's a fact, too.
So many people are going to have problems.
Mind you, PSA, I don't think that would work
PSA,
whatsoever.
Scott thinks this 100%. Fuck you if you're poor. Scott says you're not allowed to have children. No, obviously this is not what you think. This is just hypothetical.
Yeah.
So I think you would run into that issue, and I think it would be highly... people would not like it. So what I like is simple and easy. Mm-hmm. It's not easy, but it's hard to keep track of, but if you could get it right, it like can't fail.
Okay.
So ideally, you have a guy and a girl or whoever want to be together. Man and woman are the only two that can have kids together. Biological man, biological woman. You can be with whatever you want, but that's the only way it works genetically for a child to be born. Mm-hmm. So if you are a man and a woman together, if you're people together, you are limited to 2 children. And you get 1 child per parent. So like, obviously you can't be like 1 boy, 1 girl, but you get 2 kids. If you're a guy and a girl, 2 kids, and then the guy has to get a vasectomy and the girl has to get, I don't know what the surgery is, but it's some surgery that makes it so you're unable to have children.
Right.
Now it gets hard, where like if there's divorce or whatever, you only had 1 kid, or you already had 2 kids in another marriage, that's where it gets really hard, and you need to invest a lot of money into to get an organization that could keep this under control. But basically, it would have the only fair way, where it's fair to everybody on the planet, is you get to have 2 kids between you and your partner. If you can't have kids biologically, that's a choice you have to make, and you can adopt if there's whatever children are available to adopt. Like, that's just the way it has to be.
Right.
And that's the way it is. Like, even now, like, if you're a guy and you want to have kids, you have to adopt. Like, it's just biologically impossible for you to have a kid any other way, unless you do, like, fertilization. Which you could do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. And then that would take away from the kid that you're allowed to have, or the other person. that you're fertilizing, the woman that you're not really in contact with or whatever. So I think that if you were going to have to do it in the most fair way possible, it would have to be limiting the amount of kids that people can have. So that way everyone can have kids and you're not just killing kids.
China does that. Like
I've heard about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is too. I think it is too. Don't quote me. I could be wrong, but
I have no idea what the number is.
I think it's either 2 or 3 per, because they're way
overpopulated. But they've been coming down because now India passed them.
Yeah.
And India's way smaller.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what needs to happen. It's like, obviously, like when I think about this, you have to implement it in the United States for a second. Obviously, it would work best in India, in China, where it's wicked populated.
For sure.
But you can only start something where you live. Like, I can't impose laws on other countries because I don't live there.
For sure.
But I think that if there was a way to get the world to live that way, that's the only fair way to bring down population control, other than like Thanos this bitch. Snap your fingers, half the world's gone.
Yeah.
Randomly, regardless of who you are, when you are, how much money you have, randomly you get chosen. That's the only other fair way, and that's not possible that I know of.
Thanks.
So
switching gears a little bit. There's a question that popped up on my feed probably a week or two ago, so we haven't seen each other in a little bit. Mm-hmm. What would you say, what role do you think forgiveness plays in your life?
Forgiveness?
Yeah.
Well, I've already talked about
another reason why I ask about this too is because at church, not the one I went to today, not the session I went to today, but the last two, a good portion of it talked about forgiveness. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on what role that plays in your life.
Well, for me, I've talked about this on the pod previously and with you many times, is where the guy that killed my mom I forgave, and it helped me out a lot.
For sure.
I think that forgiveness is for everybody, and I think it's for me. I think it's literally, the way I look at it, simply put, is forgiveness is allowing yourself to move on from what has happened. You don't have to be okay with like what happened. It's accepting that it happened, and forgiving the person is not saying like, I'm okay with what you did, and if you do it again, I'm okay with it. It's, I accepted that it happened and I'm moving forward. Mm-hmm. So forgiveness is for you. Like, it's not for the other person. Like, obviously, like when I did that for that guy that killed my mom, like he cried in front of me, like he was thanking me, like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I've been laying up every night thinking about you and your sister, whatever. But for me, as much as I was like, I don't want this guy to live in a life where he hates himself because he feels like we hate him, selfishly, it was more for me. Like, it was more so I could just move forward. Mm-hmm. And so I think that forgiveness in my life just allows you to move forward from the things that have happened to you, to allow them to not hold you back.
Yeah, I think a huge part of that, to continue that conversation, is like, if you don't truly forgive someone or something or an event that had a negative impact on you, you're allowing that event or person or thing to continue negatively impacting you,
to have power over you,
which is, and I still struggle with that to this day, bro. Like, you have some sort of pride. Like, if I'm going to be vulnerable, mm-hmm. like you have a pride to it. It's like, well, like, nah, like I got to get revenge, or I got to do something to make them feel the way you think. But it's like, when you really like dive into it, it's like, that doesn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
Other than you just getting more mad, because what's going to happen 99% of the time is you're going to get revenge, or you're going to do something, or you're going to repent to make them feel the same way you felt. And then after it happens, you're going to be like, damn, that just makes me feel like a shitty person. Mm-hmm. You know, not saying that's happened to me specifically, but I've had a lot of people, give me feedback on things that they've done. And it's like, you're just allowing that person or thing to continue hurting you going forward if you don't actually forgive them. You know? And I think a lot of people don't realize that. It's like, you can forgive, you don't have to forget. Like you said, you don't have to it's just not gone. You're going to remember that for the rest of your life if it really impacted you the way we're talking, like something can. Mm-hmm. But forgiveness is so huge, man. It's massive. It's so huge. And I don't think I ever came to that conclusion till I built my relationship with Jesus. Because he helps heal all things that you couldn't think that were healing. Yep. And to preface this too, we're not a gospel podcast. Like, we're not going to make you guys think or believe certain things that we believe, but it's just us speaking from our experience,
that's all you can do.
And I think everyone should give a chance to Jesus. Everyone should give a chance to him, because it's like, the amount of healing I've had in the last 6 to 12 months that I never thought I could heal from is like actually life-changing. Like, you feel it inside of you. Like, we talked about a few weeks ago, or a couple months ago on the pod, like, I cried the first time I ever went to church.
Right.
You don't just cry because I said I wanted to cry before I went to church.
Mm-hmm. You cried because you felt something.
Because I felt something, bro, and it made me react to it. It gave me an emotion. It provoked emotion. That's something. And with crying too, we don't cry a lot either. So it's not like an emotion that I can just turn on
Doesn't
whenever I feel
often.
like it. It's not like it's not an off, not on and off switch, you know?
Right.
Now my second question to that is, even though you have forgive certain people for certain situations, like you just mentioned, do you still struggle with forgiveness? Is it a work in progress, or do you feel like you found a way to properly forgive people when things do happen, or what's your process like when forgiveness is needed?
So with that guy, that was like the first time, like that was in my relationship early with God, like yours, and it really helped. And then I was pretty good with forgiving. And then my dad's girlfriend stuff, you've heard about it plenty. We no need to get into it, but I like tried to forgive her and I wasn't. And then now she's kind of like moved on out of our lives, so it's kind of for the best. But I would probably say that, yeah, like I feel like I'm pretty good at forgiving people. It just depends on the situation. There's some that I'm better at than others, because like sometimes, like if it's someone I really don't care about, like I'm just
let me ask you this. Not to cut you off. Let me ask you this, because it happens to me. It's easier for me to forgive when the situation directly impacts me, but it's harder to forgive when it impacts someone that I care about.
I agree.
Like if someone did something to your sister, or someone did something to your dad, or someone did to me, or for me, if someone did something to you guys, or like my sister, or Sierra, like it's harder for me to forgive those things because it's not something that I can control. You know what I mean? Like if those people I care about are hurt, I can't control if they recover from it. I can control me
you can
forgiving.
Trust yourself enough to be able to
forgive. Like I don't know if they can properly forgive. I don't know if you can, like all these things, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel the same way too?
Yeah. Like if it's like what happened with the girlfriend was directly at Cameron, which made it a lot harder to forgive because she's a child. Like she's a lot younger than me, but this also brings up the fact that as soon as you said it, like the people you're talking about. I'll ask you the question straight up. Like the people you named, do you love those people more than you love yourself? Because I'll answer it. Like the reason why is because like I love myself, and I don't love myself as much as I want to yet. I feel like I can love myself more. But I know for a fact I'm taking a bullet for you. I'm taking a bullet for you. I'm taking a bullet for Caroline. I'm taking a bullet for my dad. I'm taking a bullet for Cameron.
I agree.
So if you impact them more, like not only is it like I don't want it to hurt them because I value them more than I value myself.
For sure, yeah.
Because that's just the way that I am. That's as a guy, like me innately value, like that's the way I was raised. Is you are here to protect the people that you love.
Absolutely.
And I'll be 100% honest. Like this is like really vulnerable, but like there's just times where I'm in the shower or I'm at the gym or whatever, and like it motivates me to think about someone that I know being in trouble and me sacrificing my life for them. Like it motivates me. Like it's like I want to be able to maybe not have to die for someone, but being willing to, or being able to put myself in line and like kicking the shit out of someone or whatever, being able to protect or help the people that I love. Like that shit motivates me. So if they end up affecting somebody that is not me that I care about, like to that level, it definitely makes it harder.
I completely agree. And I think if you do feel that type of way for the people around you, like you just mentioned, your sister, me, Evan, like all these people, it shows what that connection means to you, you know?
Right.
And you cherish those, and you're grateful for them, and you show gratitude for all those things because life is so precious, you know? Like me and you talk about this so much off camera. Damn, this episode's been vulnerable as fuck, but
yeah.
It's obviously you don't want to live a scared life where every day you're like, oh my God, you're going to die. Like you might die. Like not like that, but it's like, I cherish the time we have right now because we get to hang out once every 3 weeks, whatever it is. I cherish my time with Sierra because I see her only after work on weekdays. Like those little things matter so much, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it just shows like how beautiful and strong like connections can really be between humans, you know? And the reason why I bring it to wrap all this shit together is like, my original question to you about the money thing, right?
Right.
Is I feel like humans have become so divided and so greedy and selfish desires. And I fall short to this all the time too. This is not me saying this is you guys or you watching. Yep. Like I fall to this all the time. And it's just so sad to see like humans not being one, you know? But when you're able to actually like value a connection, have a connection like that, that I'll take my life for you. I will do this for you. I'll suffer for you. Like those are things that you just don't take for granted.
Right.
You know? And that's why I love y'all boys. Like,
right. Exactly.
Like and it's not a one-sided thing. It's not like I appreciate it and you don't, or you appreciate it and I don't, or it just goes
that's
so
where it
many
hurts
ways.
the most, is where
Goes
you
so
put
many
so
ways.
much love into somebody else and they don't give it to you back in return.
For sure. For sure.
But we'll get off of our
sure.
soapboxes here and like being super vulnerable and stuff. So I have a magic trick for you.
Okay.
And so I want you to think of a number between 1 and 10. Any number. Don't say it out loud.
Okay.
Just think of it. Okay.
All right, hold on. Give me a second. I'm gonna play mind games with you.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. What number do you think of?
I'm not gonna tell you because then you're not gonna pick it.
Okay.
Okay. So you got your number.
Got it.
Now multiply it by 9.
Okay. Took me a
took
second.
you a minute
Took me a second.
Okay. Now those two numbers that you think of, like that number multiplied by 9, whatever that number gave you, like say it's like there's two numbers, add those two numbers together.
The number to get me to the okay.
Like the number that, so you got like
Yeah.
say you know what I'm saying?
Say it was 4 times 4 to get to 16. I'm adding 4 and 4.
No.
That's not the number I picked, but I'm saying
No. So say you did 4 and 5, right? Like obviously you couldn't. You're multiplying it by 9, but you did 4 and 5. So it'd be
4 and 5.
2 plus 0 because 20. The two number like so. You see what I'm saying? Add the two numbers that the answer
said
was.
2 plus 0. So what the fuck are you talking about?
So
Okay.
say if you
Okay, I get it now. I was gonna combine the two numbers that I multiplied to get to the number, but you're saying the final number, the two numbers.
Yes.
Add them together.
Add those two numbers
Okay,
together.
got it.
Now, once you get that number,
Okay.
subtract 5.
Okay.
Now, think of that
what the
number.
fuck is
Listen,
that?
listen. We're going somewhere.
Okay.
So that number you thought of, think of it as what number it is in the alphabet. So A is 1, B is 2. So whatever number you have, think of the number in the alphabet. Okay?
Okay.
So that number is a letter now. So that letter that you just thought of, think of any country in the world that starts with that letter.
Okay.
Now, take the last letter of that country
Okay.
and think of an animal that starts with that letter.
Dead ass. I can't think of one on top of my head. Dead ass.
Just keep thinking. I promise you.
All right. Hold on. They can't see, so let me look up one. Hold on. You can also pause this whenever.
No, it's good. It's good. It'll let people
This
know
is
that you're watching, that we're not cheating. Because they're going to see what happens and they're going to be like mind blown.
Okay. I go. Okay. I got one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now the last letter in that animal,
Okay.
think of a fruit.
Okay. Got it.
Now, be honest. Are you thinking of kangaroos eating oranges in Denmark? And if you are, make sure you like and subscribe. And I can tell that you're not, because
No, it's not.
I think you might. So we'll work
not.
through the process.
No.
What number did you choose out of 10?
8.
8. So 8 times 9.
72. So
72. So that gave you 9.
Minus 5 is 4.
Right. So what letter did that give you in the alphabet?
Oh, I'm tweaking. I fucked up.
I fucking knew he messed it up because it's always right. I knew it.
No. I went my original number. I did the 8th letter of the alphabet, not 4. You see what I'm saying? That's why I got to H. I said Hungary. I couldn't think of an animal that started with a Y. I'm like, what the fuck? So I said yak. Fucking K. So for a fruit, I said kiwi. And then you said some random shit. So I was like, okay, yeah. No, when you said the number of the alphabet after, I thought you were talking about my original number, which
no. I
Okay.
knew you messed it up because so I'll explain to you how it works now. And then I'll do it to Mikey later. And if he does it right, he's going to get the answer.
He's not. If I just fucked it up, Mikey, it's cooked.
It's because you're dumb.
It's cooked. Me and Mikey are dumb.
Yeah,
It's
you guys
cooked.
are dumb.
It's cooked.
So basically
It's
what
cooked.
happens is, so you pick a number 1 through 10. It doesn't matter what you pick. Any number you multiply by 9 through those numbers is going to give you two numbers that add up to 9. That's just the way math works. 1 is going to give you 9. 2 is going to give you 18.
Yeah.
3 is going to give you 27. So it always adds up to 9.
Yeah, that's fair.
So then once I ask you to subtract 5, you're always going to get 4 unless you fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then the 4th letter in the alphabet is D.
Yeah.
And when you think of D, what's the first country that comes to your name? Your mind.
I
Denmark.
would say Denmark, yeah.
Exactly.
I would say Denmark, yeah.
Denmark. Unless you're like weird and you think of Dominican Republic. Like there's people
No,
that do
of
that, but it's
course.
very unlikely.
Of course, yeah.
They think of Denmark. What's the last letter of Denmark? K. First animal that comes to your head when you think of K. Kangaroo.
Okay.
Most likely, unless you think
Yeah.
of like koala.
Yeah.
So this is probability here.
Yeah.
And then the last letter of
Oh.
kangaroo's O.
Orange.
And of course you're going to think of an orange.
Yeah.
So it's kangaroos in Denmark eating an orange. And I fell for it,
Okay, that's
but I knew what was happening when
That's
it
fair.
happened because I thought of the question already.
Okay.
So then I was going to ask you, and you fucking...
Hey, you got a clip out of it though.
I got to get out of the
You
show.
got a clip out of it.
Because now what's going to happen is I'm going to post it, and then I'm going to blow people's minds. And that's the title of this episode is I'm going to read your mind.
Okay.
Or I read Scott's mind, even though I didn't. And that's
That was
at
good.
whatever time, 44:55. And so that's tough because you ruined
That is tough.
because it's actually really cool when it happens because you're like, wait, what? Because it's like how magic works. Like when magic happens to
That's
you
true,
and
that's
you don't understand it, it's like, how the fuck did that happen?
That's fair.
And then you realize it was simple math and statistics. But all right, so we're in the NBA Finals right now. I want to talk about it now because
Yeah.
next time we film, it's probably not going to be happening anymore.
Yeah,
So we're in
no,
the
it'll be
NBA
done-
Finals
it'll be
right
done,
now.
yeah. It'll be done. Yeah.
So have you heard of the conspiracy theory going on about the NBA Finals?
I have not.
It's the Paul George theory. Paul George is the reason for these NBA Finals. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
Listen. So we know Paul George started on the Pacers.
Yeah, he went to the Thunder as well.
Exactly. Paul George was on the Thunder. Or the
Yes.
Pacers. Started on the Pacers.
Yeah.
Then he got traded for Victor Oladipo in Sabonis, right? That's the trade. I looked through the data.
Yeah.
It was that trade that
Yeah.
brought him to
Yeah, it was a
the Thunder. It was a
3-way
three-way
trade.
trade.
Yeah, it
They
was
all
three-
traded
yeah,
all
yeah.
the people from the Thunder.
Yeah.
Shit happened.
Yeah.
So then basically the Pacers got Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
The Pacers traded Sabonis to the Kings for Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
So now Tyrese Halliburton on the Pacers because of Paul George. Now we go back to Paul George on the Thunder. Paul George got traded from the Thunder
I see where you're going.
to, I don't even know the other team that he got traded to. He got traded to
Clippers.
whatever team they had.
Clippers. It's Clippers.
Clippers. And they had Gallinari and they had Shea.
Yeah, they did.
Now Shea's on the Thunder.
They did.
Shea and Halliburton are the two main players in the NBA Finals right
good.
now.
That's good.
So it's because of Paul George.
That's good. I like it. PG-13 is the reason why.
Exactly.
He played for both
PG-13
teams.
is the reason why the Pacers and the Thunder are in the
Good.
finals right now.
It's been a good series actually. So,
It has been good. It's a 2-2 right now.
2-2. Dude, I don't know if you actually. I know you haven't watched any of the series.
I watched the game last night, like the ending.
Dude, Shea looks exhausted, bro. And Anthony Edwards looked the same way last year because it was his first time actually making a deep run. You know,
Yep.
bro. They're like, give or take 100 games in. Like your body's not used to that when you're just used to
Yep.
playing regular season and then getting bounced first round or just not making
Right.
playoffs at all. You cap it at 80. You take a couple weeks off and you're back to your off season. Like, bro, it's taxing to go this deep in the playoffs, and I don't think Thunder could still win the series. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I don't.
Yeah, it's
I don't
2-2.
I still think they are going to win, but watching the games, like there was a possession, Shea comes down, throws a turnover. Mine just like middle of the second quarter, bro. So he still should be fresh.
Right.
Throws a turnover. He jogs back on defense. Thunder gets a rebound. He sprints to the corner, and they're trying to run a dribble handoff action. Shea tries to go for the dribble handoff. The guy who's guarding him is on his ass, not letting him get it, and he just waves off the guy who's trying to give him the ball, and he's like, yeah, I'm good, and walks back to the corner and puts his hands on his knees like he's just exhausted. Middle of the second quarter, and it's like, I think that's just going to wear on him over time.
Yeah.
I will say if they don't win Game 5, going back to OKC, they're done for. They're done.
Oh, you mean like because they'll go back to
Right now, this next game is going to be
In
actually
OKC.
Tonight, actually, it's going to
they
be.
play in OKC.
If they don't win
Okay,
tonight,
yeah.
I think
if they don't win at home, they're going to go back on the road and probably lose
I
again.
think it's going to be they're going to be over in 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think tonight's a statement game. Even if they win tonight and they go back to OKC for 7, I think they can do it. No, it's been a good series, and before the series even started, I was like, bro, this is so ass. We got the fucking Thunder and the Pacers in the NBA Finals. Like that's
Right.
ass.
But it's actually
It's
entertaining
been pretty good. It's been good.
because it's like given Shea won MVP this year, but like it's
Bullshit.
not like
bullshit.
He should have won.
It's bullshit.
He should have won. He should have won
bullshit.
last year too.
Bullshit. It's bullshit.
Either way,
You don't watch fucking basketball.
hey man, Shea's stats are good enough to win MVP.
They are.
And
No,
he
no,
had
no,
the
no.
best
No.
record in the NBA.
They are good to win an MVP. I'm not saying that. He's deserving, but there's another player who's more deserving.
And his name's Kevin Durant.
Absolutely.
Right up on the
fuck not. They actually might burn this.
No. But there are talks. He might. There's a lot of talks of him going to like a
gone.
lot of different teams.
He's
There's
gone.
been like the
He's gone.
Rockets.
He's gone.
He's definitely not going back to the Suns. So there will be another jersey added to my collection. And if you have a Seattle Supersonics Thunder jersey, Durant jersey from the Seattle Supersonics, let me know. I would love to have it. But yeah, no way. He deserved that. But I like the NBA final, even though I'm not really watching them right now, because I need to get more into basketball, and it'll take some time. But I'll eventually get back into it. But like, it's just like a good NBA finals, because it's not like a LeBron versus KD or Curry versus LeBron. Like, it's not like a super team versus super team. It's like solid teams that no one was expecting.
Yeah.
Or like the Thunder maybe, but the Pacers definitely not.
No.
Like nobody, when me, you, and Rhodes were sitting here talking, like the Pacers got mentioned.
Yeah.
Like not as to go far, as just like a team that needs to be passed for like the Cavs or the Knicks to get to somewhere.
Yeah.
No one thought they were gonna come, so it's like an underdog story almost.
It is,
and
it's nice too, because like a few years ago when the Heat made it, they weren't supposed to make it when Jimmy Butler was there, and they were like the 8 seed. And
right.
They played who the fuck they play?
Probably the Bucks or something.
They got waxed by somebody. They lost in like 4 or 5. But anyways, they weren't supposed to be there, but the other team was supposed to be there. So the series ended up being shitty because then the Heat got clapped.
Right.
But this year it's two teams
that weren't supposed to be there.
Because even with the Thunder being the best team record-wise in the NBA, they weren't really supposed to be in the NBA Finals, you know?
Yeah,
they
it was probably supposed to be the Nuggets or
Nuggets,
the Timberwolves or something.
Or
like a team that
Celtics.
Celtics obviously.
Yeah.
It's Pacers side, but
so like even though on paper, yes, the Thunder should have been in the finals, they really shouldn't have been. So now you have two teams who are like that shouldn't have been in the NBA Finals. It actually makes it a good series,
right?
Rather than you having the 8th seed Heat and the fucking whatever team with the 3rd seed Warriors, then it's just like okay, get their ass out. You know?
Yeah, that or like the 1 seed Cavs and the 1 seed Warriors.
Exactly.
Where it's just like I've seen this 5 years in a row.
For sure.
This is dull.
For sure.
This is new, and like it's kind of the idea of super teams is kind of going away.
It is
because there's now it's like evenly balanced teams with like players that are like really good as like all 5, and the ball gets spread out because they're all really good players. Like with the Pacers, with the Thunder, like given obviously Shea is the MVP and he scores the most points, but like they have players that are getting 20 points a night, and Shea might get like 25. Like
I also think super teams don't scare anybody anymore, which is huge. Like it's really hard to make super teams work anyways because if you have 3 guys that need the ball, it's like okay, on paper that's great to have fucking this guy, this guy,
be able to work together.
Yeah,
because like the way it needs to work to win a basketball game is like obviously you need to score points, but you need good defense, you need rebounds, you need assists. Like it's just a fact. And if you just have 3 stars, unless those 3 stars are able to do every single one of those aspects, like if you're just getting points from them, like your defense is going to be buns.
And that's why I think the Pacers and the Thunder are so good because like they have their star guys and they have a couple guys that are pretty good on the side, but there's no one like for example you have Halliburton, right?
Right.
Miles Turner is nasty still, but he's not a fucking all NBA superstar. You have Pascal Siakam, who's won a championship with the Raptors, but he's also not a superstar guy. Thunder, you have obviously the MVP in Shea, but you have Chet, who's a bright young star. You have Lou Dort, who was first team all NBA for defense. Jay Williams, like you have a lot of young stars, you know. So it's like the distribution of talent is like, I think is just what making the series so good, you know.
Yeah, it's
which
making
is awesome.
It more even.
It's perfect. It's good.
Okay, so me and my roommates had talked about this a little bit. Do you know what a vasectomy is?
Yeah.
We talked about it actually a little earlier.
Yeah.
Would you ever get a vasectomy?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
How much money would you have to get a vasectomy done? Like how much would I have to pay you to do it?
How would you get it done? Like I'd pay to get it done. Like you're
like you never had a kid.
Oh, you're saying like right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was saying like at some point in my life, like if I have a couple kids and I don't want any more, like yeah, I'd get one.
Because I'm that way.
Oh, you're saying right now?
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
Oh,
How much money would you need?
Shit.
Because it's funny too, because you're the guy that's like, I don't know if I ever am gonna have kids.
I would argue that I probably won't have kids, but to close the door for, and obviously you can get it undone.
You can
do
it reverse, but it's
painful.
really
it's really painful.
It's really awful.
So I could still get out of it, but like to close the door basically,
yeah,
is crazy. You know, because maybe in 5 years I'm like, okay,
I'm ready to have a kid. I'm bored.
I'm bet, like you know.
I'm done with Lily. I'm done with Lily. You're bored.
I'm done with humping Lily. FYI, that's my dog.
Oh my god. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. Scott's just like, fuck it. I'm done humping my dog. I need a kid.
I need one.
I need one to hump. But
dude, I would say realistically, like dead ass, no troll shit. I would need like 50 grand.
That's nuts.
I need like 50 grand.
50 grand. See, this is where you and I differ. Because there's not an amount of money in the world you could give me to like make it so I'm not able to have a kid. Unless you get upwards of like billions.
I need like 50 to 100K, yeah.
That's crazy.
I would say 50 to 100 bands to have no kids. Oh, yeah.
Well, how much would you need?
Well, he wants kids, though. So there's no dollar amount, really. Really.
Exactly.
Unless it's like a fucking credit card that you have unlimited money on.
That's why I said like billions.
Like maybe, yeah.
Because then I could like go adopt a kid and like.
For sure.
Because like adopting a kid's a good option.
Then you're going to get like a
Unless you want a natural kid.
You're going to get like a black baby.
Hell yeah. I'll give him a good home. Or she. No, because like I talked to my roommates about it, and like theirs is more like a little bit from a religious perspective, but they're like, bro, you should never get a vasectomy, bro. Like it's wrong. And I'm like, why? Like I'm like, you like if you don't get a vasectomy and you're married, right, and you have however many kids,
right,
you're just gonna keep popping them out.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to me, you shouldn't be just popping them out. Like I said, this world is fucking overpopulated. You get the vasectomy, and then you know you don't have to get an abortion, which at least in the eyes of God is unfavorable in most circumstances. Some not.
Right.
And so it's like they're just like so like no, you should never get a vasectomy. And I'm like you said exactly what I had. Like if I had kids, like I plan on getting a vasectomy. Like I'll have kids and then I'll get one.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to keep popping them out.
Yeah.
And
Right
like,
now it looks crazy though.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, I know you're not gonna care because you might not ever have it, but like I wanted to see how much money it was. I expected you to say like $1 million, not 50,000.
50 to 100K, yeah.
That's
then
crazy.
Then you got me. I'm snipping my chops.
That's how much
my chops are getting snipped.
So
man.
basically, we're clipping this 5608 to show Scott's children in the future. You were worth $50,000. He would sell you for 50K.
Just write me a check and you're done.
And you're gone.
You're done for. Especially if it's a girl, bro. I'll take 20.
Oh
take
my
20.
goodness, that's wow. Damn, that's crazy.
I need a son. If I had a kid, I need a son, bro.
That's facts. I mean, shout out Gordon Hayward. That guy was he was down bad.
Yeah, he tried though.
He tried, and then the third time he had a daughter, and he almost called it a day.
A for effort. A for fucking.
That's crazy though. 50,000.
All right. All right, big dog. What we got for the foreski?
All right. So top 4 today. I actually haven't thought about it at all. And we talked that it should have been.
The pressure.
So no pressure.
He's gonna say, "What's your favorite
pressure
dog
makes
food?"
Diamonds,
He's gonna
baby.
say, "What's your favorite dog food?" Top 4.
Top 4 favorite
You
dog
say some
food.
bullshit.
Definitely Beneful. No, I was trying to think. I had one like a little while ago, and then I forgot about it. Like a week ago, I was thinking about this. So we'll say, top 4 condiments.
This is a debate. This could be a debate too.
What are you saying? A debate of like what I consider a condiment,
and what do you consider a sauce?
I think they're the same thing.
Are sauces and condiments the same thing?
Let us know in the comments. I say they're the same thing. Because a condiment is something that you're supposed to use on something, just like sauces.
But it's not. It's under a different umbrella. Sauces are sauces.
Tell me something that you say is a sauce that's not a condiment.
Wait, say that again?
Tell me something that you consider to be a sauce, but not a condiment.
I can think of the reverse. I can think of something that's...
Well, that's great. That's not what I asked for.
He said that's wonderful.
All right. Give me the opposite then. Something that's a condiment that's not a sauce.
Like pickles. That's a condiment. You put that on top of...
You're playing.
You put that on top of a burger.
You mean like a straight pickle or relish?
Both. Think about it.
That is a clip, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me in the comments right now if pickles are a condiment.
What do condiments do? They go on top of something, right? So pickles, lettuce, bacon are condiments. They go on top of something.
You are playing right now. Technicality. That is not what a condiment is at all. Condiments are like ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise.
What is the definition?
Yeah!
Look up the definition of a condiment.
Yeah!
If you look up
for TV, baby, let's go. Come on.
Condiment is a broad term for any seasoning, preparation, and added to the food to enhance the flavor.
Preparation. A pickle's not a pickle's
anything that goes on.
Look up, is pickle a condiment?
No,
No, this is going live.
No, ready? Come on, hold on. Ready?
This is going live on the 4TV channel as soon as it's tonight.
Ready? This is what he said. He said, our condiments and sauce is the same thing. Just like he said, because he said it behind the camera, so I want to make sure they actually hear this, okay? Condiments and sauces are related but not identical. A condiment is a broad term for seasoning, preparation, or accompaniment. Whoa. Basically, accompanies added to food to enhance flavor, often applied at the table. Yeah.
Look up, is pickles a condiment? Look that shit up right now, because you're playing with me.
Evan knows why I didn't finish reading.
Does it literally say it's not?
No, it doesn't.
What does it say? Read it. What does it say?
Just what you stop for, bro.
Bro, what does it say right now?
What's your top for?
Read that shit right now. Because my phone's fucking recording, so I can't see what it says. I'll fucking look it up on my computer right now.
No, it says... Evan, you're a real one, okay? You're a real one. Anyways, dude, I'll tell you after, actually, though. Right,
I want the fans to know.
Top four. They can find out themselves.
No, I'm about to look
this shit up. What's your top four?
I'm looking it up. It definitely just completely negates.
It says sauces. Like ketchup, mustard.
Yeah, exactly.
It says gravy too.
But we'll put it on the 4TV pod. We'll put it tonight. As soon as we finish this pod, vote.
I'm half right and half wrong though. You said condiments and sauces are the same thing, which it's not. But the condiments that I gave, for example, were incorrect.
Those are not condiments.
But we're both right and wrong.
All right. Welcome to the 4TV pod.
We learn something new every day.
All right.
Okay.
So
I would say
we'll say for what you were saying, like sauces, which I'm considering as condiments.
No, let's just do sauces. Let's do sauces.
Sauces.
Yeah.
All right.
So we actually, okay.
And it doesn't have to be. Do you want to go specific, like a McDonald's?
Yeah.
Sauce or just the broad sauce?
Let's go. You can go broad or be specific. Okay. I would say I'm gonna name my four like we always do. And I'm gonna reorganize later. Okay. So I'm gonna say Chick-fil-A sauce, cane sauce, just a normal honey mustard.
Wow.
Just a bland honey mustard for me is fire. And then ketchup is simple, but I use it for a lot of things, so I'm gonna say ketchup.
All right. That's
to re-rank them though, I would say Chick-fil-A sauce 1. Honey mustard is very similar to Chick-fil-A sauce, but it's slightly different. But honey mustard is my favorite sauce, but Chick-fil-A is gas. So I'd say Chick-fil-A 1, honey mustard 2, cane sauce 3, ketchup 4.
Okay. So I'm pretty similar. I have Chick-fil-A sauce and honey mustard.
Okay.
And I was talking to Caroline last night about this, how like on that bus ride home, 7th grade B team, I gave Scott half of my sub.
Bro.
And he's like, what is this sauce? This shit's damn near delectable.
It was fire.
And then I put him on to honey mustard for the rest of his life.
Fire.
So Chick-fil-A sauce, honey mustard. I like barbecue sauce a lot, like honey barbecue sauce.
Barbecue's fire.
And then I'm a big fan. Me and Caroline last night, we were a little naughty and we fucking got some McDonald's and we got sweet and sour sauce.
Sweet and sour is fire. With the nuggets?
So yeah.
That's an OG.
So I'm going to go with Chick-fil-A sauce at 1, honey mustard 2, barbecue sauce 3, fire. Sweet and sour is my 4.
I like that list. That's good. It's a good episode.
Yeah, pretty good. I like it. I like how we get to expose Scott's dumbness when there's not another person here. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far, we appreciate you so much. You guys have been blowing up the channel. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so to share it with your friends, like and subscribe. We love you all. Thank you guys so much.
As always, like Andy said, we appreciate every one of you who decides to support the channel. With that being said, in the next couple of months, the boys will be in San Diego for a trip. You can expect an episode with a different scenery. No gay, no Durant jersey. And as always,
we'll try to make a vlog too.
Yeah, we'll do a vlog too for sure, and we'll have some new content out. But that's not for a while. It's eight weeks out, so we'll have a couple new episodes in this studio. Sure. But something to look out for sure. As always, new videos drop every other Monday at 3 p.m. So turn on the post notifications and get right to it. Let's do it. Throwing 4s out, baby.
4TV. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.